All right, everyone, we have a decadence crisis in the United States. They're trying to make math woke now. Now, this goes hand in hand, actually, with another story, and we'll get into what equity actually means versus on the ground, sort of practically speaking, what it actually entails when you're talking about the wokals. I've started calling them wokals because, they're rudimentary individuals. They think the fact that they have a piece of paper to their name sometimes makes them more intelligent. And yet basically their intelligence relates to parroting talking points given to them by other people that are exploiting them. I've noticed this to be a common trend among extremist movements. So the Wokals in Boston, I reported on this a couple days ago, in their school system, they decided to get rid of advanced coursework. They're phasing it out over the next 2 years because there were too many white and East Asian people taking them and not enough people of color. See, East Asians are no longer people of color, according to these people. And I find it funny because they use the term people of color. It's only slightly different from colored people, and one of these is politically correct, and the other one means that you're like in the 50s or something. It's really, really warped and weird how their linguistic propaganda semi-works. There are actually people dumb enough to accept it. But here's the thing. We've been told that equity means taking people that are at the bottom and uplifting them. That is, that you're trying to restructure the way you do things so that there are at least fewer people that are suffering. On paper, sounds great. Oh, you got less poor people, you got less dumb people. That's wonderful. You've helped society. Society advances. In our decadent state, though, what actual equity appears to mean in practice, with Boston or with this woke math bullshit from the Gates Foundation, is taking people at the top and dragging them down. It's taking the intelligent kid and denying them advanced coursework. And before I get into the woke math, I would like to point out something very, very interesting here with the situation in Boston with their wokeness in their school system. It only affects public schools. Who goes to public schools? The rich kids? No. The politically connected kids? They go to private schools that aren't affected by this. They're still getting advanced coursework. So now Ma and Pa America in the middle class, before their kids smart, they get mostly A's and B's, they got AP courses, they're getting some college credit, they're in a full college prep battery, they're in NHS and all this stuff. They're fucked unless their parents want to pony up more moolah to put them in a private school, or they have to hire a private tutor to get them ahead further. And like for studying for the AP tests, because they won't get it in the public school. It's not affecting the 1%ers, it's affecting the 20%ers, in other words. It's affecting the middle and upper middle class. It's not going to affect the true rich kids. The ones that have, little insignia on their shirts and have the little top hats and shit like that. The ones that go to the white tie luncheons with their doctor parents. They're fine. They still get the AP coursework, but the public school kids won't. All because some people complained about how it was somehow racist, that there was some sort of disparity between the aggregate ethnic background of people taking AP coursework. How fucking screwy can you be? So in practice, as opposed to in theory, equity actually just drags down people at the top if they are in the improper echelon economically. If they're in the middle, lower upper middle class, that sort of margin, smart kid gets fucked. If they're above that, if their parents are millionaires, then it doesn't affect them. So, but they're the ones that donate to political campaigns more. I wonder why there's a fucking difference here. And I'm thinking that the people that run the Boston school system there should probably all be fucking fired and exiled from Boston forever. But now they're coming explicitly for math too. Now, there is one component to this that actually I would agree with the Gates Foundation and some of these groups on. And I found this out as a reasonably intelligent kid, by the way, in elementary school. There's more than one way to do a math problem. There's not usually just one way to actually calculate the answer. But the answer is objective. They are making the argument that they should de-emphasize correctness in the math equation and start talking more about how you arrived at your answer. How are you feeling today? And stupid shit like that. Now, I'm just going to posit this. If we're going to build like nuclear plants or skyscrapers or sewer lines or a fucking rocking chair, don't you want people to be good at math, getting the right number, as opposed to feeling good about the fact that they tried? It doesn't matter how they arrived at the number, but there are certain systems that are more efficient than others. If you're teaching a certain method, though, of arriving at a certain calculated conclusion, that's objective. At least within that subjective chosen framework that you're doing the problems in. Like you have a similar calculation, but this time you're doing it with decimals, this time you're doing it with fractions or something. Okay, you may arrive at the same answer, the numbers stand for basically the same thing, but they're treated differently. There's a different methodology. But the answer's still the same. 1 plus 1 equals 2. No, it will never equal 3. It's not going to equal 0. 1 plus 1 equals 2. You're being told, and this is an age-old meme about dystopia and decadence, that there's going to be a world where 2 plus 2 equals 5. That it no longer equals 4. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2 anymore. It equals zombies or something. Newspeak. Willfully subjugating everything to subjectivity, even if there's no actual subjectiveness to it. Teaching people improperly and then gaslighting them and saying, no, this is the right way to do it. You're too traditional. You're stuffy because you think 1 plus 1 equals 2. Only a decadent culture has the leisure time to actually attempt to use Marxism, which is basically the premise of what this is. It's not equity in any reasonable fashion. This is Marxism. And apply that stupidity, which is what it is, a failed system, a failed philosophy based on lies, to things that are objective, such as math. Or science. Imagine you're doing chemistry. Well, you mix the wrong chemicals, you're going to fucking blow up. It doesn't matter about how you feel. It doesn't matter what color skin you have. You fucked up. You drank hydrochloric acid or something. You're dead. There's no subjectivity there. You can write a whole book on theory. Well, I think it would be more ethically correct if it was more equitable about how much cyanide I could drink before dying. But the different races as an aggregate, there's like a 0.2% difference in the cyanide dosage, and this is improper and is racist. That's perfectly fine, but you shouldn't drink cyanide though. That's a fairly objective statement. You could choose to if you're suicidal or something, but the skin color is not going to save you when you do. This is a problem, and people need to stop thinking about this just as humorous. It's really easy to say, well, this is Bill Gates. He's a wokel. He's lost it basically. He decided to relinquish control of Microsoft for no reason, and then he wandered off to do so-called philanthropic work and keep sticking his cock in a beehive. That's fine. It's funny. It's funny to talk about the wokels and how they're completely out to lunch. We regard them sort of like, that hippie teacher in Beavis and Butthead or something singing about lesbian seagull. And it's funny. It's humorous. But the overall impact on culture, when you consider the number of students that are being maltreated by this sort of bullshit, by this sort of Marxist nonsense, by the attempt to render even objectively objective things to the realm of subjectivity for the basis of having an equity that will never exist, that's concerning because it damages and degrades and weakens the overall country. These people are all collectivists. They want to talk about the good of the people, the good of the poor. Okay, the poor are not served well by their children not being able to get advanced placement coursework because of the color of their skin. That's not equity. It's fucking Marxism. It's fucking stupidity. That's about all. Peace out.